having a wonderful day. And if you're not sure by the title of this video, it's my birthday. Not today, it's tomorrow. But I can't do tomorrow because I'm working.
Who's Alex?
Yeah,
who's Alex? Is it his birthday tomorrow? I don't know who this Alex is.
You don't know who I... Gosh, you little cheeky bastards. Not saying that you know me very well. Well, let's just say that we've known each other for how long has it been? Was it been over for 4 years now? Has it been?
I mean,
something along like that.
Like we spoke a bit beforehand, but it wasn't really until we properly met for the first time.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think what all got us together was that that our YouTube channels brought us together. We commented on each other's videos. We found ourselves on Facebook. We talked, we chat, and we discussed a lot of things about Doctor Who. Because let's just face it, if you haven't been to my channel, then you need to know that I'm a Doctor Who fan, as well as these other people are Doctor Who fans as well. And if you're not a fan of Doctor Who, then don't worry, we may get you into the show. Like, I've had a couple of people saying that they want us to talk a little bit more Doctor Who, because I'm now starting to get more people into Doctor Who than ever before. So
I've had the opposite experience, actually. I remember when I was at uni, I was living with my housemates, and Jodie Whittaker came on. Like, I was at there when she aired.
Yeah,
I think episode 1 was all it took for them to go, nah, I don't care if I never watch another episode, but that show's not for me.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm just glad to see that it's actually working. I just needed to check. I needed to check, because otherwise, hey, I can see one person's joined, and that is just far relief. And I bet that is Charlie. I bet Charlie has joined for the fact that, don't worry, I'll join for next time, no matter what. Because I've done this, like this streaming service. If you're not too familiar with, as this streaming service is, it's called Be Live Studios, and it's a streaming service that allows each other to show each other's faces. And this is the same thing like with Zoom, for instance. People can do this for Zoom, but this Be Live Studio, you can do this for YouTube, for Facebook, and for any other online streaming service that you could like to. Oh, I think we may have a visitor. We may have a visitor. Do we have an All Things Doctor Who in the chat? Yes, we do.
Oh, there he is.
Hey, guys.
Great timing.
Hey.
Great.
Hey, so I was a bit busy when you were trying to connect, so
Sorry, did I interrupt you while you were getting your lunch?
it's no. Yeah, I thought I'd join it obviously for a bit, and obviously got to walk in the dark later. But yeah, obviously it's the birthday stream, so I might as well join.
Yeah,
you're betraying us all, Aaron.
Well, I had a bugger of a nightmare trying to get all the 4 of us on stream together. I had to pay a ridiculous amount of money just to pay for a stupid upgrade so I can have 4 of us on here. But I'm glad it works.
How much did it cost?
Well, £23 per month to upgrade to 4 participants, and for us to show screens and stuff like that. And also, if I didn't pay, I wouldn't see your voice or hear your face or hear your voice, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Oh my days! I've just looked at the chat. I believe we have Alex Patterson in the chat.
Yeah.
Oh, Alex Patterson. Hello from all the way over across the sea to America. We have the Doctor Who guide joining us for a brief appearance, let's just say. Alex, if you want to join, click the link in our group chats. You can join us.
Hello, Ryan Smith.
Hey, Ryan.
Oh, they're probably my mates, honestly. They're probably here to join me. Probably want me to discuss the football scores, but no, I'll talk a little bit everything in general, really. But I'm just glad to get all of you guys on here, because I think my birthday would suck if I didn't do anything, because I would probably lock myself in my room probably till, I don't know, midnight, drinking away and probably having a good cry, thinking my life is gone downhill.
At the moment, it's snowing.
What that reminds me of.
It's snowing here at the moment, so I'm trapped inside. So I mean, I could even drink in. Basically, we've got the new living room sorted. We've rearranged it. We're getting a new wardrobe and everything, cabinet. It's going to look amazing. But we're basically trapped in, and it's freezing to go anywhere. So I could be doing the same, just drinking by myself, but I'm not.
Well,
Have you
yeah.
got food
I had a
supply?
nice,
I'm
I had a
hoping
nice
you're
drink and a nice
snowed in.
cry. So
How heavy is the snow over there? I'm hoping this is brief, or is it now becoming
Oh,
snow?
it's been snowing for like 2 days,
Wow.
not stopped since. So yeah, it's massive. It's So I think personally for myself, I've got a bottle of amaretto. I've got a bit of Coke today. I mean,
took me a minute. There's hang on a minute. Is that one of the horrible drinks or a nice drink? Oh yeah, amaretto's decent.
amaretto's great.
Yeah.
I love amaretto. I remember Rob tried to show me like cranberry juice for amaretto, and
That
I
was
tried
it.
it. You were raving about it. I thought it's one of the best drinks I'm going to have. I tried it, and I was a bit like,
It was like I know it's just like it tastes like cherry bakewells, and I was just like amazed by that, and I was like, oh my god, other people need to discover this, like I discovered it, and then it was just a disappointment for you. It's like, oh, you let me down.
Have you ever seen a SpongeBob clip where like from the fish is like, what is this?
I do for Alex here.
Be back in a minute.
Yep, no worries. I'm trying to currently add Alex Patton to the mix. Let me see.
Yeah.
I can take.
I love how Adam's tidied up his living
I'm gonna
room.
grab headphones.
If I can take.
Oh, I can
Adam
hear an
off-
Alex.
If I can take Adam off just for this moment, and I can add Alex for a brief spell. Well, hello there. Can you hear me?
Hello. Hair's grown a bit since we last spoke.
One moment. I'm gonna grab my headphones so you don't get hair.
I've decided to
feedback.
start my hair a bit as well for a bit, for the stream, but didn't go to plan, unfortunately.
I don't think he likes us.
He
I don't
doesn't.
think so. This was a bit unplanned. Alex, please come back. Please come back. I'm sure we can arrange something here. I'm hoping I've not upset him because that's going to be the last that I would have. He's going to be like, unsubscribe from Alex. He's rubbish YouTube creator. Do not bother. Do not bother with his videos. Right, Adam, I just had to take you off just for the brief spell. I'm going to now bring you back because I'm going to hopefully Alex Patterson back. So give me 1 sec. There we go.
Yeah. So what's the plan today then? What are we talking about?
Well, I'd like to, for everyone in the chat, and for most people watching this, not fans of Doctor Who, not even knowing who I am, well, I'm Alex. I'm a creator of Doctor Who, and all of these other wonderful Whovians are creators of Doctor Who as well. So I have to say, what is the best thing you love about Doctor Who, and what makes you so happy to be around with other people with the same passion for Doctor Who? And we all know for loads of people, they like their variety from the new series, the classic series, and much more. But it's either what you kind of believe is that sort of origin. Let's start with Doctor Who for you.
I think. Okay. Who's first?
Well, if I have to start, knowing what Doctor Who was, I thought it was a comic book strip, and I thought, who's this Doctor Who? Is this some sort of superhero? I thought immediately this is somebody who wants to save the world and save everybody from death. And when I turned on the television, they were saying, "Oh, Doctor Who actually exists. The superhero of Doctor Who actually exists." And then I realized that what's his code name of? He calls himself the Doctor. And ever since then, I was just breathtaken by he can travel through time and space in a police box. What superhero is that? This is not any Marvel character I used to grow up with. This is ridiculous. Forget Spider-Man. Doctor Who is the new superhero for that time. That's what I thought at the time.
Yeah, definitely.
It's been wibbly wobbly, timey wimey. He picks up, he saves companions, he battles against evil, and yes, if that was going to be the original story that I had in my childhood, then it was. So
I think the best quote to describe the whole thing you just said in a quote is, "I'm a doctor and I'll save people."
Yes, precisely that.
That is like, if you're going to sum that whole story with one quote, that would be the quote.
I mean, I can only imagine what sort of things the Doctor could do with if you have to be a superhero, you've got to have like a good set of gadgets, and of course he's got a sonic screwdriver. But I was like thinking he could change his banana into a banana pistol just to take the piss.
I don't know. I could see. I could see a Capaldi story where he wears a sort of an Iron Man like suit. Just seeing Capaldi just acting like that would be awesome.
Do you think that in any way, shape, or form, would the Doctor look badass in an eye patch? Like, which Doctor to you with an eye patch would look badass?
I think it'd be cool for the rest of the Doctor's run until that future Doctor does regenerate. If they did lose an eye or have some sort of discovery, discardment in an adventure, and it really has states and consequences, I think that'd be cool. I mean, obviously, don't do a Nick Fury where it says you make it sound badass and it turns out a cat actually scratched your eye. But apart from that,
yeah, just do a Capaldi where I'm still blind.
Yeah.
And then you're not blind.
I'm still blind.
Well, just so I can have Alex Patterson on screen, Adam, would it be okay if I hide your screen and keep you on mute just for the time? I want to grab Alex Patterson in for a chat, if that's okay. I'm hoping I have some other things to do, but
yeah.
Let's see. Stop video. Wait, hang on. Oh, sorry, Rob, that was you. Didn't mean to do that. I am so sorry there.
Rob, it's not pod racing for you.
It's not pod racing.
Right, can we get Alex Patterson in here? You're going live now, Alex.
Hello.
Hey.
How are you?
Hey.
Adam,
happy birthday.
Chat in the talk in the chat. You're more than happy to, mate. We'll be able to see you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we were currently discussing about our love for Doctor Who. What started for you, Alex? More particularly, great name, by the way. You should all change your name to Alex from now on. Everyone change their name to Alex because it's the best name of all. What started for you your love for Doctor Who? I'd like to see what made you start your YouTube channel in the first place. What was your first glimpse of Doctor Who?
Well, my dad found it on Netflix, and from then on, he watched a couple episodes. He liked the show, and then he showed it to me, my brother, and my sister. We were all about, I want to say, 11 or 12, and we got hooked on it. And from then on, it was back when Netflix sent out DVDs in the mail, so we had a queue, and because there were 5 of us, we had to wait our turn. So every 5th DVD that came in the mail would be a Doctor Who one. And after that, I just got hooked with collecting, and I decided I wanted to make a YouTube channel about 4 years ago, and I was welcomed by all things Doctor Who, and
it's crazy
really
times.
Look where you are now. You're even beyond many friends.
Here we are.
Across the world.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Their knowledge and their connection with other Doctor Who fans. That's now your catchphrase. I'm not
Yes.
You should put that on a T-shirt. You can sell a lot.
I
remember seeing Alex's channel like years ago, and like, oh my gosh, it's so cool! Like, goes over every little single detail and connection. That's awesome. And then I commented, and it was really good. And obviously, you've grown massively since. It's amazing how much you've grown. So yeah, obviously, it's amazing what you've done. I think
all thanks to you.
Wow,
and Aaron for our channels.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that's the thing, is being welcomed into an existing community was so lovely, because like it can be a struggle for a lot of channels to start out, and just to see, all these wonderful other channels that were, really helped you along the way was just wonderful. And, they did great stuff.
So there's one, obviously.
Sorry, I was about to say, what was your first DVD that you collected for? Well, actually, your first item for your collection, because I bet that starts off the stretch mark for all of the other collectibles you've got in your collection.
Right. The first item, the first classic series DVD I got was The Pirate Planet on DVD. I thought the second one was City of Death. So for a long time, I've told everybody it was City of Death, because I only recently checked my Amazon order history. And then for the new series, it would have been Series 3, I think, was the first box set I got. And yes.
So Pirate Planet's part of Keith's Time. Now you've got to buy that as a whole set. How was the Pirate Planet your first story?
Because in the US, they were released both separately and in a box set. So you could buy them, you could really buy them either way. They weren't stuck in a box set like they are in the UK. Since then, I've collected, I think, Yeah, I've collected all the versions. I've got the original editions, the separate ones, the box set, the special edition separately. The special edition digipack, and I'm gonna get it when the Blu-ray comes out.
A Pirate Planet's a weird one, I think.
Alex Patterson chose the Pirate Planet over City of Death as his first choice. Just let that sink in.
Oh,
And
I didn't know. I didn't know.
Honestly, I don't mind the Pirate Planet. It's not a terrible story, but it's certainly a story that I don't go to for reasons I can't put my finger on.
Well, my first classic DVD was Destiny of the Daleks, so I don't know if that's worse than the Pirate Planet, but
Mine's The Invasion.
And The Invasion, yeah, because I bought them.
Well, The Invasion's a great one.
I bought them at the same time, but I figured because I watched Destiny first, I just always say there was that.
I know.
Say that I think you dived into a very shallow pool when going with Destiny, and before I did go deeper with going into more Doctor Who, but no, I'll stick with Destiny. It's my first.
I'm not gonna lie, Alex. Destiny for Daleks, the cover looks awesome. Like you look at, if you're not a fan, if you're a fan but you don't know much about the story, you look at that cover and you think this looks epic. I want to watch it.
I knew it was shit, but I still wanted to watch it. So.
Yeah.
Unlike, I'm just glad I didn't pick the original Remembrance of the Daleks. Just screen grab artwork.
Oh, that is a terrible artwork.
That would have been a great story to start on, but
what about the Robots of Death? That just had one of the rock robots, and then it was like
Spearhead from space.
Well, with the Robots of Death, you at least it lived up to your expectations because the robot cover shows like. If you've seen the story, you know it's the robot growing. But on the cover, if you've never seen the story before, you just think it looks like an army of robots, and that's what you're expecting in the story. And then you watch it, and it's just the one robot. So at least with Robots of Death, you get more than the number of robots seen on the DVD.
Of course, I remember the abysmal artwork for Robots of Death on the VHS, where it's just like 3 really poorly photoshopped.
The first Revenge of the Cybermen, I think the very first Doctor Who UK VHS release, the Photoshop on it is so wrong. It's the wrong outfit
Earthshock
Cyberman.
I know. It's
whatever they could get wrong, they did get wrong on the cover art.
There's a Target novel. It's a foreign release of the Crusaders, and it's the 4th Doctor instead of William Hartnell on the cover.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm like, that books me in so many levels. It's a 4th Doctor. So you're going to read it expecting the 4th Doctor, but when it describes it as an old man, you're like, what?
Well, and the illustrations on the inside are of the same, are of the first Doctor team. They're the original illustrations from the novelization. So it's just on the front cover that the Doctor looks like Tom Baker.
Exactly. Here's a question for all of you guys. And also for the people in the chat who are Doctor Who fans, what's your favourite DVD cover? Now, I think when you look at a DVD, there are some that stand out to you that I'm going to watch that. And a lot of them have a lot of good artwork, I'd say, because the artwork, I think, gets you in the mood. But I think if it's coloured right and if it's like presented in the best way possible, for once, my favourite one is the War Games, because I look on that cover, they've got the little triangle, they've got the map of all the war zones, you've got all of the different soldiers coming from different war zones, you've got Troughton in the middle, and Jamie and the Time Lords and all that, and you think, that's a blockbuster in a way, that's a symbol.
That's great.
Yeah.
I think my favourite has to be, I've got 2. I think I love Terror of the Zygons. That is just such a beautiful cover.
Yes.
And then this second one I'm going to have to say is The Enemy of the World. It was the re-release, so it's when you had the TARDIS the version when you had special features. I love them 2 covered a bit. I think they really look fantastic.
Yeah, I was gonna say, now that you mentioned Terror of the Zygons, I absolutely agree with you. That's probably one of the all-time best covers. I love the special edition of the Aztecs. The golden design of that just looks absolutely amazing, and I think it's probably the best first Doctor DVD artwork. And also the moon base always grabbed my attention. I love that artwork, and I love that story consequently as well. So
I think one I'm very biased towards is The Invasion, because as a fan growing up, obviously just getting to the classics, and Rob will agree with me. Yes, we picked the invasion up for a reason. We saw the Cybermen looking cool. We saw a big explosion, the second Doctor falling, and then the Brigadier. And I think this story looks like it's got a lot going on for it, and it really says it in the cover.
I'd also say the same for not the second release, but the original release for Inferno, where you had of the red sort of background. It looked like it was a Doomsday little sort of cover, and you get the brigade leader with his eye patch. Like when he rocks that eye patch, you know that shit's about to go down, and you know straight away that when you pet that up, it's like, right, there's an end of the world scenario here. Either we survive this or we don't, then I'm all for it.
Yeah. I love it. That's a great cover.
It's a lot cleaner, but it doesn't have that same intensity that I want to get into the movie for Inferno. I think
Charlie has said
even special edition covers like the Steelbook. I think the one Steelbook that I can even imagine that is probably my favorite is the Macra Terror. I just think the little gradient of the coloring of the Macra Terror, and especially when you see the shape of the Macra, even when entering that sort of cave. I mean, I even created a thumbnail on the back of that sort of photo of the Steelbook, and I thought, wow, this is beautiful. And I love just for the fact that it's the animation that's just stuck out for obvious reasons, as last year for 2020 was a massive year for either, if you're a massive fan of the classic series, seeing that the 1960s of Doctor Who has been revelations by the animation going so successfully, either through the Faceless Ones, the Macra Terror, Fury from the Deep. A lot of people have now got on board with the whole animation process that this is a revelation. This is the future. So I'd like to ask all of you guys, what's probably the proudest animation story that you've seen and you're kind of, in your mind, you're thinking, wow, now this is brilliant. This is like something, such of a revelation that they're going in a new direction with all this and they can do so many more stories afterwards.
I think I've got to say the Macra Terror's one just because for animation, because the animation really lives up and it makes the Macra more of a villain. I mean, I love the dodgy effects that the show has. Don't get me wrong, give me some good dodgy effects in your day. But if you've seen the surviving clips of Macra Terror, you see it's a plastic crab just doing that with overacting. But with the Macra Terror animation, it really embraces the scariness and the tallness. And obviously the scenes, I think it's overall fantastic. It really says animation could be good.
In the Macra Terror, they had to redo some scenes. As remember with Ben and Polly in this sort of cave with they were being attacked by the Macra, they had to I don't know, improvise because they didn't really want to, you know, repeat what actually happened. That's why a lot of people tend to complain that it's not actually screen for screen, image by image. It's sort of improvised in a way. Do you like the improvisation that they try and make it a little bit different so you see a different point of view of what the Macra tend to do?
Oh yeah, I love that. I love that aspect to it.
I love that. I think it was in Power of the Daleks, but they added in, when he was like digging through the chest, they added in little references to other Doctor Who stories, and they obviously couldn't have known, they couldn't have done that in the day, they couldn't have predicted the future and had props from those stories, but it's just a cool little thing that they can tweak without, or like that little missing persons or wanted poster for the Master in the Faceless Ones.
Yes.
That's just a lovely addition. I remember watching The Reign of Terror, and maybe because it was one of the first ones that we got, or it's one of the first, one of the only Hartnell animations. I remember looking at the mix of like CGI and cartoon and really being impressed by that. And I haven't watched it in a while, so it may not hold up to the test of time. But I remember watching that and being really impressed by what they did with it. And they've obviously strayed away from that style since then. But
I think the transaction animation and through a lot of stuff. Sorry to cut you off though, Rob. Another thing I would say with going through a transaction with episode phases where you've got one episode that's animation and then another that is live action. What do you make of Sharda? Because I would say for the most part, the animation version, you've got moments or parts of the episode where it's live action and then goes straight to animation, but then cuts back into live action. What do you make of all that? Do you find that it's sort of disjointed, or do you find it goes along with the flow of the episode? Do you actually find Sharda to be quite a constructive episode just for the fact that they've got animation part in it or do you find it's just a complete mess? And as you either want Shadow to be just by itself live action, or whatever you're trying to interpret it.
Obviously, we want Shard to be live action, but I found with Shard after a couple of rewatches. Now, it's good, but it's very similar to Power of the Daleks of the first animation.
Yeah.
So it's very ploddy with the way they move sometimes. Now, I'm very impressed how they've done a few shots, but some shots they could have done a bit more work on.
I'm going to disagree with you there. I think it was pretty good for what they had, and it was a much better animation than Power of the Daleks.
Had moments of power.
But to be honest, I think what you got to remember is, they weren't able to complete it. So yeah, of course we would love to have the live action, but a few strikes, stop that completely.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're lucky that we've got the animation at all, and that the actors have come back.
Right. I think it is unique.
It does somewhat, is a bit jarring as each scene, keeps switching. I think, to be honest, it is quite good. What it is.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting to me is that you would think initially that whether it's for, a story with 3 missing episodes, 3, existing episodes, that animating the 3 existing ones would be a lot of work. But if those existing ones have the same characters, the same sets, it's really not too hard once they've done the upfront work of designing everything to animate those remaining episodes. So if possible, I love to have it all animated, and then I like to have that combination of I want to see every surviving clip from each episode, and if it cuts back to an animation, I'm fine with that. And I'm also fine with because they did that with telesnaps, where you would have like, if there's a 2-second surviving clip, you would see it, and for a second it's like it comes alive. And I think it works better in black and white, going from animation to real. But
on that note, Alex, what do you think that Fury from the Deep lost its edge when it came to that moment where you noticed that it's different, but you just have to get with it? With Fury from the Deep specifically, and I think Aaron and Rob may have seen this, and we all know that famous clip in episode 2 where you see Dr. Quill opening his mouth and seeing that jarring, terrifying scream. In the original clip, that is still today the scariest moment that most people tend to remember. But the animation version, it's different. And do you like the fact that it's different, or for the fact they could have done something a little bit better? Maybe they could have had a couple of phases during between mouth to mouth, or could they have just done something like different? Did they think going into that, changing that one crucial scene was going to make all the difference, or do you think it's ruined?
If I were like in charge of that range, I would try and find some way to put more of the budget towards the scenes that we know survive, so that you can really make them either really commit to the style that you're doing and do it really well in that style, or try and make it almost as realistic as the episode. Because the thing is, you can look back on those clips, but I think what's lost is when we compare it to all of the rest of the episodes being animated, I think it makes up for it. But it is always disappointing when something, and also like the TARDIS landing at the beginning of Fury from the Deep was not as well done as it could have been. So I've seen a lot of chatter about that. So it's sort of like there are times where I'm like, I wish we could have given them more money.
Wanted of
more
that
time.
I think
be amazing and crazy and scary. Sorry to interrupt, Aaron, but I think loads of people were crapping on for the fact that it wasn't the same as what we saw from the surviving clips, and people were so upset by that. And does that really affect the story in its way? Because I think the story is still phenomenal to this day. Go ahead, Aaron.
As somebody who was a clarified lover of this story, me and Rob both love Fury from the Deep. We're obsessed with story. Wade thought it was animated. I told you, Alex, watch Fury from the Deep. Obviously, I love it to bits. So I think watching the reconstruction, it was a very different experience. But I think just seeing the scenes come to life really made it happen from what I've seen in Bethesda reconstructions. I think that if I was going to have a complaint with the animation, I don't know if Rob feels the same. There's a few characters with extremely long arms, like longer than usual. And I'm just thinking, are you from a Mr. Men?
I know the reason behind the mystical arms. Yeah. So basically, they clearly didn't have enough time to fix the arm problem because normally you'd use the same arm length for like each of the body turnarounds.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
then for that specific angle, the shape of the arms would change, but they didn't have enough time to sort of put that in there. So as a result, they just got these really long arms for those certain shots, which is weird.
You don't recognize Jamie. Like I was there thinking,
He looks a bit weird, doesn't he?
is that real?
And
I was just trying to make out if that
I
was
think-
Jamie, but it looked like
backtracking just
it looks like
ever
a
so
young
slightly.
version of him. Like he's just grown. Like it was Jamie, but a couple of years off, as we know Jamie. I
And
felt
a few people commented, as you said about Jamie. Jamie looks like a young Cliff Richards. by the animation face, Mike. Richards in the animation. And it was like, no, it's very sus.
Backtracking very slightly, because I know you were on about the scene, the surviving clip and the reanimation.
yes.
I actually know why they've changed that as well. It's because I think if you were to match it up with the original shot, the scene would look very different and jarring to the rest of the animation. And I think they made a decision there to sort of do it in the same style as the rest of the animation,
Yeah.
just so it would blend better.
Mm.
Although having said that, I am annoyed that they didn't
Yeah.
match it a bit better with the TARDIS landing, because that's iconic, and they redid it for War Games, so I think you might as well.
I bet they made some financial decisions to even make that a thing, or it's either for the fact that they decided to troll us Doctor Who fans. Just you changed the one scene that we wanted to see. It's
No,
not.
the one thing that I'm annoyed about is Macrotera, because
Yeah.
watching the telesnap, my favorite scene was the scene with the where the Doctor got his clothes,
Muffin tub of a shame.
done up.
Oh yes.
I got so annoyed just because I that was my favorite scene in the story, and they thought, nah, let's just not bother. So I loved it.
Right then, my next question will be, guys, what is your prediction for the next animation story to be released? We haven't had a Hartnell story. Do you think they are going to go to a
No.
Hartnell story
No.
next, or do
No,
you
we're not. No, we're
No.
not going to.
Charlton?
Not until they've gone every second of a Troughton story. I think that the next. I mean, we've heard rumors of the Abominable Snowmen or Evil of the Daleks. I think those are two very likely ones.
They're the two
But
next
then
ones.
again,
They're the two next ones.
that's going to be really exciting. I mean, the steelbooks for both of them are going to look just amazing.
Sure.
But my question is, will they ever do the Highlanders? I think they'll do it last, but it still falls into that same category of a historical with lots of characters, different settings, hard to animate. So it's essentially the kind of Hartnell story that they would ignore because it's just too difficult. But I'm wondering, would they have to fill in those gaps if they're going back and doing Web of Fear? They'd have to do all the Troughton ones. I think they're committed to that now.
An easy Hartnell story they could do is Galaxy 4, because that story is very much a sci-fi, same character story where you could easily insert all the characters without difficulty.
Right.
So Galaxy 4, and plus there's, I think is it 1 or 2 episodes? It's like 1 episode surviving. So you don't need to animate 3 episodes. Sorted.
And you've even got a lengthy 6-minute clip from one of the other episodes too that makes it even easier. But I'm really frustrated because I want a season 1 Blu-ray collection box set to come out for the 60th anniversary, and or even season 2. But like Marco Polo is just too hard to animate. But for season 2, you just need the 2 episodes of the Crusade, and I get that they're hard to animate. But here's my thing: animating the 2 episodes of the Crusade have been just as easy or just as hard as animating all of Power of the Daleks twice? Because I think that's an equivalent amount of work there, for sure, at least. So I would have liked to see a complete season 2 with just those 2 episodes. We're so close.
Do we think, though, that what is the realistic prediction is going to be Evil of the Daleks? Do you really think that's going to be the next sort of down the market?
It's I think it's gonna be Abominable Snowman. I've heard it's Abominable Snowman and then Evil of the Daleks.
Right.
Yeah, I've heard that next.
Yeah,
which would make.
Oh, you can.
I've unmuted you.
I tried to mute myself, but obviously
don't worry about it. It's fine. I've sorted it now.
Yeah,
I think it makes sense to have, after especially the Web of Fear special edition coming out, to also do the Abominable Snowmen. I think they're creating some Yeti hype here.
Honestly, I would love to have more Troughton, but And I think the next animation will be a Troughton.
Yeah.
I think after, it is Fury. No, it's Weather Fear, isn't it? And then I think they probably will do Abominable Snowman after that, just because they've got almost all of the character models. Yeah, you have to tweak the Yeti a little bit. But
the story from Troughton's era. Troughton's probably looking on, like thinking, my era is now finally being appreciated for what it truly was. God bless you, Troughton. God bless you.
Meanwhile, there's Hartnell turning in his grave.
William Hartnell's having a tantrum right now.
I'd love the massacre of
Why
St.
am I
Bartholomew
being
to be animated. I want the massacre. That is like one of my favorite historicals, and it does some great character justice for Stephen.
It does.
Right. Here's my question. Do you guys think that they will release the Daleks Master Plan as one 12-part epic, or will they do volume 1 and 2? Treat it like 2 6-part stories, put out 2 steelbooks, 2 DVDs, 2 Blu-rays.
Or
what do you think they'll do?
Or we could have a version where Thief Stephen doesn't exist, so it's just left.
It's just a room full of Arabs, isn't it?
On top of that, if we are going to do if it's going to be a 2 steelbook release, one thing I will say, I'd like for Doctor Who to put in the Mission to the Unknown recreation by the people in Lancaster University, because I watched that time and time again. And I'm thinking, these are people who know their Doctor Who and they know how to recreate telly stars. So for a university production like that, then I'd like that to be included, just because that's the future for what that university can now do. Like, again, recreating Doctor Who in sort of that sort of cinematic sort of way. It's not as like massive production, but it's like it's recreating what was there at the time.
Yeah,
it's like quite similar.
Makes me kind of disappointed.
No, I agree. That was
Matt, because the production value of our stuff is much lower down than Lancaster.
Yeah, that's the difference with Lancaster, though. Yeah. Probably my next question is that I've always been fascinated about Doctor Who's fear factor. What's in your mind? What makes Doctor Who scary for you? And I think there's a lot of things that come into question with what's the special thing about Doctor Who that makes it really scary? Because this was a special feature on the Deadly Assassin. If you've not seen the special feature on the Deadly Assassin DVD, it's basically a special feature that explores the fear factor of what Doctor Who fans or Doctor Who sort of journalists sort of get to see about what makes Doctor Who truly terrifying in that way.
There's a lot of scary moments. Obviously, it all depends who you are, but I think Moffat has summed it up in a perfect moment. He's bringing the new era of, say, even Russell or Robert Sherman with that logic, but it's bringing everyday objects we look at and turning them into monsters. There's a story how Moffat made the Weeping Angels, a very similar house. He walked past. There was obviously a statue, and the last time we went, it disappeared. It wasn't there no longer. So obviously that's what brought the idea of the Weeping Angels. So I think it's everyday objects that we don't really expect to be scary. Like shop window dummies, they come to life. I think it's every day. Right. Give it a twist and it works.
I'm going to be honest. I don't really find Doctor Who scary. Like, the only monster I did was the Weeping Angels in Blink. But then I was 8 years old, so of course I'd be scared.
Yeah.
But what I do find scary, actually, is in the books, like the 90s, sort of like PDAs, VNAs,
good.
when there's a lot more adult material, when literally anything is on the table and anything can happen to these doctors and companions. Like, I'm not going to go into this, but I've decided there's a lot of horrible stuff, to say the least. But I don't think the age range would be very good for Alex's channel to talk about that stuff.
Fine.
That's what I find scary about Doctor Who.
We won't mind. It's fine.
Yeah. See,
gratuitous violence and.
I mean, Aaron essentially summed it up exactly what I was thinking. Is that taking that everyday object and making it scary, or at least making you think of it, whether it's something in the corner of your eye or just various different things, but. I think we have to credit a lot to the Dalek mania that happened in the 60s and not overlook the fact that the Daleks are basically the reason we have Doctor Who. And while I don't recall you know, if you've grown up with it, if you're familiar with it, you can like sort of laugh at the Dalek design, and there's something about it that's almost comical, but then at the same time there's something that we've either culturally or just we've given them so much like power, and obviously what they represent of, you know, fascism is so terrifying, and so I think that's a timeless sort of monster for Doctor Who.
I think even back in the 60s, because
go ahead,
they evoked so much of the Nazis, and World War II was only like around 20 years prior. Like, it was still fresh in people's minds.
Yeah.
So I think that's one, like, apart from the kids, obviously, who didn't grow up in that, but like the adults, you know, it brought them that sort of a level of fear factor with them. And like, it's only hyped Dalek Mania, which I don't know. It would be cool to get.
I've got their concepts to bring that fear factor, but I think, for me personally, I think all monsters aside bring the fear factor that we all expect. But I think for some people, they find fear in a different way. Like, I'm going to be brutally honest. I love the Deadly Assassin to bits, but one thing for me that I found the most fear factor of them all was the sort of dark corners of the Master being in the dark corners and talking very, very slowly. Sometimes you can be creepy, and sometimes you can be creepy with creepy, slow dialogue. And that's sort of like building up your attention, building to a sort of like, you know, you don't want to be intimidated by him, but you're going to be intimidated because he is the Master. And in those dark corners, you're thinking something's about to go wrong here. And another thing to point out, I think sometimes the actual scenery and the actual whereabouts of where you are in what story it is, that might create a certain sort of like goosebump feel. And I'm mentioning about Horrifying Rock, for instance. The android invasion, that empty, like,
the atmosphere,
like a ghost town. You're thinking, this feels like a ghost town, but something is wrong, and I do not like it. It gets you under your skin. It makes you feel nervous a lot.
I'll tell you,
though, that's a fear factor that not many people tend to explore, because I think that's, for me, if I feel that the surrounding area is bad, then I know that the story is going to be bad news, no matter what.
A particular scary moment, even I was surprised, which got me. So I recently received the Time Lord Victorious Blu-ray set. I was with my partner, and I was gave it a watch. I've not seen Water to Mars in a long time. So I decided to give it a rewatch. And I'm going to have to say, I think another scary idea is obviously is when the Doctor in the story. It's not what we find scary, but it's that the design of the flood. Now, I'm a grown man, obviously. I'm not going to be scared of Doctor Who, but I'm going to have to say a design from 2009 still holds up as a terrifying piece. Still got me, as someone who can watch.
I think every aspect of that story just sort of like worked in its favor. It's like
it's terrifying.
Monsters, water, they can't touch it, but we need water to survive. They're on Mars, you know, they're in a cramped atmosphere. They can't get out.
Yeah. It's fantastic.
It all builds up, and you know the
Base
Doctor
under
knows
siege.
they're going to die, but we don't know how. And then when the Doctor turns the Time Lord victorious, it was just like one of the best news stories.
It's fantastic. It's a masterpiece.
From that story, who actually felt really scared by the Doctor? Who was like thinking, "I'm staying away from you. You're not."
Well, you know, we used to think the Doctor just eventually strays away from that phase, but now because of the new Time Lord victorious books, the comics, and we know now the Doctor goes along that path. Or if it's in a different, I don't know, is it in a different universe or is it canonical to the show? That's what
I think it is canonical. I mean, let's be fair.
I think it's meant to be canonical. Yeah.
But still, though, I think there are some moments in Doctor Who that bring that fear factor, or even for the things that Doctor Who, I'd never expect them to go in an area where I thought, there's children watching this. It's a family show, so there's a certain level of what fear you've got to go to make Doctor Who scary, but also get the kids out of their seats and behind the sofa, because that's sort of like the sort of thing that you really want to see. And I'm going to give you a moment like The Deadly Assassin Part 3, the Doctor being physically drowned, and when seeing their hero being drowned by somebody else, like violent stuff. Kids and other parents were writing to the BBC saying, we want this being removed and stuff. And all of these other moments, I think there are definitely behind the sofa moments, and you really think that as this is a family show, you can't go too violent. Not like the class stuff that they've gone violent stuff by killing people and physically killing people like that. But Doctor Who have to go to a drama effect or fear factor to even make it the scary they can go to, but not as too scary for the kids to watch it, because kids growing up with all this, they were probably blown away by the fact that the Cybermen were coming out from their tombs, seeing that the Cybermen come into life, and then seeing the likes of, I don't know, the abominable snowmen coming in the underground. Next time a kid may go into the underground, might find a Yeti in there, and he's going to be spooked to death by knowing what's going to be around the corner. So there's certain things, whether it's monsters or whether it's something like a dark corner scenario, you don't know what's going to be behind that corner. You don't want to look. But even still, the episode I quite like for that brings that fear factor is the Impossible Planet and the Satan Peak. You got that terrible voice in your head. It's like that subconscious voice that's saying, "Don't turn around. If you turn around, you'll die."
Fun fact, that is Sutek.
Subconscious. It's like, I want to turn around. I want to see that person. And then
fun fact, Alec, that was Sutek. That was Sutek. Yeah, that was the person that voiced Sutek. I'm not even joking. I love that fact. He came back and he ruined it.
Well, I'm glad they haven't ruined it, because you say that to anybody else, they'll be saying, "Really, really?" Like they'll be thinking all sorts of mechanical stuff. But even still, to that episode, that planet, or even the people who were there before time, before even the Time Lords even existed, you're thinking, even as people, but beyond the Time Lords, beyond creation itself, and you're thinking, how the hell is that possible? You're probably thinking that there's more lies than there is truth when the Doctor says that I am the origin of what it began. Yet when they say that the Big Bang started the world, this was even before the Big Bang. You're thinking, oh no, there's more shenanigans than I even thought about Doctor Who, and it makes you think, what is there to go back? Is there more to look forward to? And I think that's what everyone's thinking. I don't want to go back because I'll be learning some really dark stuff. And it's either that stuff that creeps people out. That's going to be the thing that most people seem quite scared about. And that's probably the fact I'm trying to get at here.
Yeah.
Well, whether it was for production reasons or because they couldn't be as gory or violent, there's a lot to be said for the amount of fear that comes just from the audience's own imagination. And that's where I think, too, the books or that's why I think a book or a target novelization of a story can be more scary than the actual episode, because you're not limited by their lack of time to make these episodes, by their design, by the editing. All of the production can just happen in your head. And so when the monster's off screen or in the shadows, and what you bring to Doctor Who, even in just your love for the characters or who they've become as you've read more of the extended universe or just grown up with them, I think we bring a lot of that to classic episodes. And as such, if you're new to it, it can just look like, a sort of really cheesy show. But it was, there's so much that you bring to it yourself that with your imagination can make it really scary.
The special features in Doctor Who. What's the one thing that you've looked at Doctor Who and you thought, special feature-wise or even visual effects, you're thinking, wow, now that was awesome. I think you've got to look at sometimes Doctor Who as a whole. And I've always remembered the video that you did ages ago, Aaron, and I think this was like years ago. You said that even the effects of the web planet still hold up today. And even to this day, the sort of the special effects of Classic Who has aged a bit, but they still go on really well. And it's the idea that even the Classic Who sort of special effects, visual effects still hold up today. You're still kind of proud that all of this has taken place. What I didn't expect Doctor Who to do was when the Doctor got trapped in that sort of like void, that sort of anti-parallel world universe in Inferno, when the Doctor was being stripped apart, you're thinking, wow, what's this? You're thinking this is some anti-dimension sort of shit. And you're thinking, wow, it's amazing.
Quick one. Obviously, I've got a quick one. Obviously, Ryan Smith has actually commented, if you had to change one thing about Doctor Who, what would it be and why? So, yeah.
That's a very good question, Ryan. You don't come up with many questions like that, so credit to you, man.
I have one option. if I had to change one thing about Doctor Who, it would be that it ended in 1989. I would want it to still come back in 2005 with everybody in the new series we've come to know and love. But I really feel like it's unfortunate that we didn't get more of Sylvester McCoy and Ace, but I just feel like there's been, as a result, such a divide in the fandom that's really unfortunate. It's like to just say, oh, the classic series as an era, that's such a huge, it's a bunch of different eras, you know. The 1980s Doctor Who compared to the 1960s Doctor Who is two different shows basically. So the fact that we've now, like, you know, drawn these lines in the sand and said, oh, this classic series is better than this new series, that's just because of the date divide. Like, I wish we could have seen what the show would have looked like in the 90s, what a Paul McGann TV show could have looked like. I mean, I love what we did get for the Wilderness years. And obviously that was important for Doctor Who in its history to be what we know and love today. But I just would have preferred for there not to be such a clear divide in the fandom.
Yeah. To answer your question, Alex, obviously there have been a lot of things to come out of what the Paul McGann TV series would have been. So I don't know if you've seen these, but for example,
and it was amazing.
There would have been a Davros as tentacles. I'm very confused by that one. It would have been a Doctor looking for his half brother or something like that, and it would have really changed a lot of the canon of Who. And it's very odd what it tried to do.
Yeah.
Also,
to be fair, the canon of Doctor Who has always been ignored. So I think they would have done some crazy stuff. But not specifically those plot lines, but I would have liked to have seen Paul McGann in the role.
I think for me personally, to answer my mate's question, I think if I had to go back and change something, I'd like to say Roger Delgado's life, so we can have more of Roger Delgado. Because I think his death was tragic and all, and that led to John Pertwee's exit. Without Roger Delgado, you know, tragically dying like that, you'll probably think we can get a couple more years out of Pertwee with that. And I think if they could have just, you know, just trying to save, like, if that never happened, the Master just would have been in Infinity. Like I just
right.
I think it would have really done a lot more frontier in space.
Yeah, because I think there's more to space that meets the eye. Imagine if Roger Delgado paid Implant of the Daleks, and that led into a sort of alliance with the Daleks. Like, that could have been probably John Pertwee's best Dalek story, with Roger Delgado being at the center of the Daleks.
Oh, yeah.
Right. You and now my four subjects, and then the Masters have gone on screen fight with the Supreme Dalek.
If I was going to have one thing I'd love to change is, I want Lungbarrow to be a TV story. I want because originally that was meant to be a TV story idea, but because of the cancellation, it never happened. I wanted it to be a TV story. I want it to be a main canon Who.
Yeah,
I want it to
so
be
the Doctor having a half
so
the Doctor having a half human brother is too much of a canon change. But Time Lord's being loomed into existence, so you're down for that.
yeah. I mean, I want Leela to be the Doctor's mother, and I don't want Time Lords to be looms.
Yeah,
that's right.
Simple. Well, hey, I've got to head out. I'm gonna start making waffles for lunch, but this will let Adam get back in. But this has been lovely. Happy birthday, Alex! Brilliant name, Rob, Aaron. It's lovely to see you guys again.
It's been great seeing you, Alex.
It's good seeing you, mate. Have a good one.
I really appreciate it.
See you later, mate.
Bye.
Alex, can you kick me out because I have no idea how to get out of this?
I am the adjudicator, as I am the controller.
By the way, the Gunfighters is the best Doctor Who story.
Blasphemy! Blasphemy!
Now I'm going to officially add our Adam back in. 1, 2, 3.
Good evening.
I thought you were going to enter as Obi-Wan Kenobi when he jumps in and be like,
"Oh, hello
there."
Me and Rob have overdone that meme. So we play Battlefront all the time, so we used to say hello there every time. Now it's just like, hey.
Yeah, to be fair, also like that with Austin. Like, I'd walk into the kitchen, hello there. He'd say General Kenobi, and it's like, it wears a bit thin, and it's just like, it's not as funny anymore.
Yeah,
but he still does it, so I have to, yeah.
We found me and Rob found a funny meme, but we're not going to do it on this because we don't. We can't
do that here. No.
Great to see you.
Yeah.
None of my eye, Rob.
Probably
I'm
a
not
real
pointing here.
maybe no for me, then you're probably on the right track.
No,
Even he wasn't here. Well, he was here, but even though I didn't get to say hello to him, it was good to see you, Alex.
Well, thank you very much, Adam.
You're
know,
welcome. No, I meant the other one.
We both have the same name. We are the same person. He's just
Yeah.
time zone. I am him. He is me.
And we were
Perhaps
together.
he
going
was
to
him, of
Future?
course.
It's a song by the Beatles.
Oh, how did it go?
Oh, how'd it go? Oh, shut up.
How does it go?
Oh, please be quiet.
Oh,
Right then,
dear.
I can only imagine what the sort of next
All right.
will be.
I've got a question for all of you, actually, but it's a
Go
really
ahead.
odd one. So, what's a story you've seen one too many times that you really need a massive break from that really gets you to say, I love it, but I just can't watch it because I know I need a break?
Well, here's the truth, and I've got to break the truth. I've already broke this to Adam, and I need to tell all of you. I'm giving a massive break to Doctor Who in general because every time that I watch a story or listen to something, like I'm going to listen to Big Finish just to give it a chance. But the Doctor Who TV shows, I've given a break from them entirely because I always return back to episodes and I think, I know what to expect here. I know what's going to happen. Do I need to watch this? Do I need to waste another hour? I can waste another hour listening to Big Finish. Like, there's more time to do that.
Yeah.
I think for me personally, I've watched way too many times of The Ark in Space. And I immediately love that story to bits. But I think it's just for the fact that there's been so many times where I can almost picture Tom Baker saying to Harry, "Get down, you. You do not look where the laser's going to shoot you in your eyeball. You stay
Yeah.
down."
Yeah, I get that. I think honestly, I do watch a TV show because me and my partner are watching Classic Who together. So yesterday we were watching Keeper Tracking on part 3 now, which is entertaining. But so I'm obviously be watching it with her with a lot of these stories. But I feel like if there's a story I have to give a break on era, in particular, it is for McCoy, I'm afraid. I love McCoy Zero and it shows how much I loved it. I rewatched it a hell of a lot to a point of I now am saying, all right, McCoy, you're great, but your TV stuff is going to have like a year or two until I actually go back to it properly.
Oh, right. If you had the choice to be in an episode, which one would you be in? That's a tough question. If you've got
Nick.
a picture in an episode where you think you can picture yourself perfectly, either by the name or by character that you'll fit perfectly
You know what? I'd go horror Fang Rock because life hurts and I want to die. No, I don't know.
I would be in hell. I would be in hell bent, and I'd just be in the war room with the doctor and the High Council, and the doctor's just like, I'm going to call for an old friend. No, you're not, Doctor. Yes, no, you're not.
I'd be in Nick.
Dead.
I'd be in Nick Mantier when Poe wakes up.
I'd be in with the room with Airman. Only I'd have to go through with that.
Christ.
Of course I won't know.
Guys, if anyone actually got what we mean, I hope
they don't.
I hope we're not horrible people there.
I can only imagine what people are probably thinking. Wait, what?
All right, I'm gonna react to that question because I'm not saying my pay wakes up, even though I'd say it was number 2. I don't know. There's a lot of good episodes I'd love to be
Maybe
in.
the Scorchies.
Oh, that'd be a good one. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
I'd just be there watching the Scorchies. I don't have to die, so
Yeah, exactly. I think for me personally, I think if I wanted to be at the side of Hartnell just for the fact that I get to see him for one last time, I'd like to be him in the 10th planet, just as the silent looker. Like, I'm just gonna be in the shadow in the snow as he walks over to the TARDIS and be like, I've been here. I know what you're gonna do next. I know what's gonna happen. And I just think personally, just to stop that brute from being an absolute arse, I'd just like to be like, hey, you know what? Can I just punch him for once? Like, you're thinking, I don't like your face. No,
you know what I'd do? I'd do an Earth shock and I'd stop Adric from getting on the ship.
I'd drag him back.
Drag him back.
I'd push him back.
No, I need to do the thing. No, you're coming with me. I'm handcuffing you to myself.
I know
No,
what.
we,
I'm not.
I think-
I'm not a big Adric fan, but I would say Vadric. I would say Vadric.
No, we need him to fulfill destiny and start perving on Nissa. There's a pretty horrible scene in
the guy
Boy That Time Forgot where he somehow survives and
Yeah, but that
finishes
literally
this-
was a big middle finger to Matthew Waterhouse. That whole story was.
yeah, that's one episode I don't mind saying not canon.
Yeah, it's not great. It really isn't that good. I used to love it. Now I want to go back to it. I'm going to be like,
I know. I've got a great idea. Why don't you just if you were to steal the Fourth Doctor's tie, the coat and scarf and the hat, would you enter yourself as the Fourth Doctor in the 5 Doctors to make it officially 5 Doctors instead of just the 4 and a bit?
I mean, technically it's 3 and a bit, but 4 and a bit.
I mean, would you try and steal Tom Baker's coats and hats and just put yourself in as I'm the 4th Doctor? It's like I swear you were a bit higher. It's like
I think I'd just be Romana from Destiny of the Daleks because I'm such a short person. I just end up looking like that.
No, thank you. Put it away. Not today.
not today. Okay. So I do have another question. I do have another question then.
Oh yeah, we're just looking at some of the comments here. It's
Okay.
like, one of them would be saying about, different writers, and I think one about Toymaker, Celestial Toymaker, for instance. Like, if you've got an idea for a story in mind, you've got to remember that the Celestial Toymaker is, he's immortal basically. And have we not seen the Celestial Toymaker for quite some time? And I'd like maybe for the day to, I don't know, when he dresses up into that coat and puts some games. Whenever there's like another, like an episode where there's loads of games around, you're thinking, is this the Celestial Toymaker? Is he trying to play mind games with me? Like, do you ever think that there's any sort of chance for any monsters to come back? I would probably say it's Celestial Toymaker.
We could have the Sea Devils at least 3 times, a couple of times by now.
Yeah.
Like say it was 12, could have brought back so many times.
And
so many attempts.
I think the Axons have a good time to come back now.
Yeah.
I think
some of the Pertwee villains would have been so good with Capaldi.
Yeah.
Mm.
Maybe even the Ogrons. Just have a couple of them in the Dalek City.
I can't even imagine what the conversation's going to be like. They're trying to say, "Is that Scottish that you're trying to pronounce?" Yes, I am Scottish.
I just love the fact
Scottish, as that's that language.
I just love that Time War actually changed canon, but in a big little way. Same with Ogrons were never part of history, but because of that story, they were part of history.
Yeah,
so, watch it. Okay.
Yeah, that's mad. How, like, in the original timeline, Day of the Daleks didn't have Ogrons and Frontier in Space. But because of the Time War, now it does.
Come Back is a plot based around an escape room. Now,
Ooh, that'd be good.
You think
that's a really good idea.
Yes, I'd love that.
I can only imagine what sort of the escape room is. I bet it'll be one whole escape room, but you've got like different doors. Like, you've got different doors, and you've got only one key exits those doors. And when you go through that door, you've got another set of doors. And it's like, how do you get through all this lot? Aaron is just going off just for a bit. I'm going to show you Rob's artwork, if you'd like to see.
Oh,
I am going to be the gentleman of of this live stream and show you his amazing work.
I mean, I wouldn't say amazing.
Well, I mean, I would just say for the fact that it's a wonderful thing, and I'd just like to show it.
Oh, how sweet!
That's nice of you, Alex.
Well, let's just say that I'd like to just scroll through this sort of artwork that he's been doing, either through Classic. Have you done any new series?
I've done a few, but I don't necessarily know if they're on Instagram.
Mm.
I do quite like my Fury from the Deep. If you want to scroll
I
up to
still
that.
really like your Kindle one with Tegan.
That one's okay. I'm
This
not.
one here?
What episode is this?
Yeah, that one.
I don't
like
know.
Episode
that.
is this?
I
Oh,
feel like I
Kinder.
could do better.
But I love that.
I like the ideas behind it.
The snake
Yeah.
having Tegan as his head, as her head.
Yeah.
I think it's wonderful stuff. Like, I think that I've watched loads of people trying to create the same sort of artwork. Like, I was fascinated by this story by Zentium because this was apparently going to be a story that was going to be on. It was going to be between the Myth Makers and Mission to the Unknown. Apparently, like they wanted to add in another historical, as in through this one. I believe
Yeah.
that's what I've heard.
Yeah, the book it's set between the rescue and the Romans. So
Yeah.
like after the
that's
TARDIS collapses off the cliff, they end up getting to like ancient Greece, and then the TARDIS gets stolen to Rome, and then after a story in Byzantium, they have to then trail their way back up. It's a
Like I
good
said,
book.
I'm going to score
recommend
all of these ones because, like, I think just for a just to mention, Rob. Like I said, I think you could just do so much more. Would you like to do any new series stuff? Like I can even see that. I've seen this character, this man here in the center. I've seen him on Death in Paradise. I'm thinking, I've seen that guy before. I know his name, but I can't remember it.
Don Warrington.
That's it. Don Warrington.
Yeah, I love his Rassilon. I think he needs to make a TV appearance as Rassilon.
For a second, then I thought you meant Colin because I can just see Colin there in the middle.
Colin's Rassilon.
Imagine if Colin was in Death in Paradise.
Wait, hang on. I'm looking at this now, and I can see that Colin's wearing the Valiard costume. Svasta's got a Colin's jacket.
Zagreus is
It's a
good story, but it's
crazy
mad.
story.
Like
This is a mad story.
It really is.
yeah, I like how I've put.
If you're gonna someone to put it in what I've experienced, it's basically Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
Doctor Who.
Yeah, Gary Russell was a big Lewis Carroll fan, and he just threw everything at the wall.
One thing I'd say about your Underworld, mate, your Underworld artwork, I think you nailed the green screen perfectly.
Ooh.
Yeah, the better effects on the artwork.
On the actual story.
We watched Underworld and we got to episode 2 and we stopped.
Oh, let's have a look at this one now again.
I didn't know that Liz Good 2000. Apparently, Peter Davison was in Death in Paradise once.
Nice.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
As I saw your live stream a couple of days ago, did you say that Victoria's departure is more sad than the Green Death? Is that what I'm hearing right? Because I completely agree with you if that's going to be the sort of thing you're trying to say. Because I do think that when Victoria had a lot more of a harsh run as a companion more than Joe Grant, and I think for more of a harsher departure, Victoria's probably a lot more scarier than what most companions think. Because remember when Joe Grant was with the Doctor, though, you saw that Joe Grant at times she had her moments of being scared, but then she found her feet and she was quite calm and she was, I know, very relaxed. When was the times where Victoria found herself like, I feel really uncomfortable, and she never had a moment where it was like, I like it here. But then she was always like thinking, can we just go back to the TARDIS, please? She had that attitude that she didn't want to go into too much danger, and it led to a more sadder departure. And I can already see what sort of that relationship means to Jamie. Jamie loves the Avengers with Charlton, but then seeing with Victoria with them as well, it's like, it's sort of like a relationship that shouldn't work, but it must. But Victoria departs just because of she's not up to it anymore.
Yeah. I think here's another understated one. I think Tegan leaves him because it stopped being fun. Obviously, she left, and obviously when she went, it was obviously all for sad reasons, and she just really all the death was too much for her. And that's I don't think people talk about much either.
Yeah, I think maybe if it was like sort of seeded on a bit more, kind of like in Fury from the Deep, where Victoria throughout the story is complaining about it. I think maybe if that was something throughout season 21,
Hmm.
where Tegan was sort of like starting to get a bit tired of all the death.
Out of
Like,
all
I think Warriors of the Deep would have been a good one. Where it's like, oh, like she should have been just as sad as the Doctor because that was all the deaths. And then as the season progresses, Resurrection was the one she leaves.
And
Yeah.
your artwork goes without saying, Rob. This one's my favorite.
Oh, thanks. I'm really proud of that one.
This one, I think, for me, says a lot about your artwork. For the fact you've got the NXOZ sort of coding, you've got the rocket going up, and I love the artwork of the exploding planet of Mondas.
That's
a great one. That's really good.
My only exception is I think Polly's looking a bit starstruck by what she's seeing there. She's probably looking like, I think the colors have affected her way too much. Like, I think her skin is now starting to freeze up.
Yeah. I was going to try and get Ben in there, but it just didn't work out.
Yeah. I'd also like to showcase the other artwork that Rob has done via his waterworks, because I think even looking at that, that's still quite nice to show as well.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, that's one I probably should be promoting more. Trying to sell
that one. Look at this one here. Whoa.
Wonder how embarrassing.
Of course, I had a comment on that 12 weeks ago. Yeah, that one's a good one. I mean, where'd you get these the ideas for coming up with these sketches? Do they just gradually, come in, over time? And is it like by practice? How many times do you think, oh, I've messed up, do I have to rub out and start again? Or
more times than I can count, yeah. Are you wanting to put them on the screen, or
have I put them on the screen?
Nah.
Have I not? Oh, God.
I wasn't sure if you're just going to talk about them.
God damn it. I'm so stupid. I'm so sorry, people. Here we go. That's better. Finally, I was supposed to be the controller of all this. Now I'm not.
Yeah, that one took a long time. And I think I needed to do the lighting a bit better, because even though the arms look tiny in that, the perspective and the way they should be there, the right length.
Yeah.
And the Leku, they're really big, so actually it makes the head much bigger as well.
Also, going on to the more about the artwork, this one's my favorite, and not to mention I mentioned it about 12 weeks ago.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I love doing clone troopers.
Really good work. Obviously, Rob's artwork is really top notch. What he does.
Yeah. Question, Rob: do you watch a lot of Bob on Channel 4? I believe that he does paintings a lot. Is it Bob Ross? Is it the painter? Am I getting?
Yeah, I think I may have heard of someone called Bob Ross. Maybe, yeah.
He does.
It rings a bell.
He does all of these wonderful, colourful paintings, and it's my mom always watches it, and she feels like it's a kind of pleasant and nice, thing to watch on TV. I think it's he's got a voice of you could just paint some trees, just make it anything you want to be. And
yeah.
I was my mom was saying, Alex, could the next painting that he do, can he not just paint any trees? We're always he loves to paint some trees. He's got trees. Oh, no, that's a great one there.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. It would be interesting to sort of change the colours up a bit.
I can only imagine what a green is that a green tiger would look like in real life. I can only imagine that it might have just swallowed up a massive crinoid and thought, "Oh gosh, this is the transformation of a green tiger coming to life."
Not gonna lie, on the Big Finish website, I saw, the emerald tiger. I'm gonna paint a green tiger now.
Oh wow, I've just seen one that strikes the mind. Oh, look at Pertwee. I can only imagine what Pertwee would probably look like. I think you need to do my face a bit better.
Yeah, I'm not good with faces, and the colours are all wrong there. But I like the ideas that I did for it.
I like the little detail with the TARDIS inside the police box. That's a great one.
Yeah, I've got plans to do a few more of them. Actually, you know what? I've got my artwork here. I'll show some of the unreleased ones.
I'll show one.
Obviously, before we go forward, guys, I do have to head off myself. I have to apologise. But obviously, before we go forward with Rob's artwork. Obviously, it's really good. Happy birthday, Alex, to yourself. Hope you have a really
I
good day.
certainly will, mate. I need to show my face again before I can say goodbye. Thanks
Yeah.
for joining. Like I said,
Yeah.
the only way that I can see myself celebrating, and that's the joy of doing these live streams, to finally just
Next year, if you want to, obviously, if you can make it on some time, come over to Amsterdam.
I'd love
Honestly, into Holland, then we'll all have a big trip session in
I'll grab some Peter Davison
Holland.
and we'll recreate Arc of Infinity where he's going over the drawbridge.
Can't wait.
Oh yes, that's great. Come over to Holland, and then we'll all have a good drink session. The bars are good. It'll be great. Fortunately, no red light district, but with good bars.
Go to the Ice Bar. That'll be a new one to film. Doctor Who, what you can knock on there for?
Awesome. Have a great day, guys. I'll see you later. Yeah.
Yeah,
See you later, Aaron.
Bye, Aaron.
Cheers for joining. I'll take you off, mate. Bye.
So here in the similar sort of style, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this. I've done Sylvester McCoy.
Wonderful.
That's
a lot
really
wrong with
cool.
it. Like the arm is really small, the posture's off all wrong. But yeah, I decided to do his movie outfit because it needs more love.
Yeah. Definitely. I'd like to say that the hair is a bit unique as well.
Oh,
I can
David's actually quite good.
with a face mask on because I think his complexion's getting all spotty.
Yeah, it's very the outline for Colin. I don't know how well this is gonna show up. Can you see
can't
it?
really.
No.
Yeah, I can see it barely. Like,
And
I think the artwork though is fantastic. You just got to keep
Troughton,
going with
does
it.
that show up? Nah. But yeah, they're basically like through the similar sort of style.
Yeah, you can
With
make
the
it out.
doctors and the TARDIS sort of
Like,
flying through.
Does the sort of outline take a lot of time, and then it is just the fact of carefully filling in the gradients in the actual colors? I think. Do you find that when you make a mistake, do you find, oh, this is just so frustrating, and I just can't seem to get onto the next one, or do you think, no, I'll just keep going,
Well, it really just depends on how motivated I am in creating the artwork. Like the amount of times where I've just sort of like given up or said, right, I'll get back to that. And it could be through any of that. So, like it could be the pencil sketches where the outline shape just isn't working, or I'm doing pen work and then one bit is too thick or it goes off a little bit and then it's just ruined because tiny little details. And a lot of the time it's the watercolor.
Okay.
It takes so long because you have to wait for the layers to dry. And in the summer it's not too bad because the heat sort of warms dries it. But in the winter it takes a long time.
Do you find that when you do these artworks, you look at pictures and you think, I can copy that sort of similar pattern or that sort of similar shape? And do you think, with many of like different shapes, and many people have got different varieties of flying, of creating, different characters, different shapes, different trees and stuff. But do you sometimes look at like video tutorials, or do you just look at pictures in general? You think, I can change this a little bit by changing this, and this?
I think it's mainly a bit of both. Like, so I'll look at one reference picture and be like, oh yeah, this is nice. But actually I prefer this section on another one. Yeah. I sort of have to merge them together. And sometimes I don't really know quite how to create it. So I sort of have to do a little bit of searching and see how to create that technique. Yeah,
exactly. I think it comes to every single job that, not only from my experience as a chef, I think there's times where I go onto going to websites to look for recipes and whatnot, and then there's stuff in the cookery and like the cookbooks that I have. It's just ridiculous. I'm looking more online than I actually do in my books. I'm thinking, why have I bought the books? Why have I bought the books to cook? I've got cookbooks. I'm not using them. It's just how I think, because I always think that other people online, they've got their own interpretations on making a difference to their cooking and making cooking for them way easier. And yet I'm like probably thinking, when I've got my own place, I'm going to be looking for ways to save money as much as I can, because I can live through stuff like I can live through 2 weeks on 20 quid's budget if I can, because that's the knowledge of a chef. There's times of where you can just live throughout 2 weeks with just a budget of 30 quid at least. There's not a lot of money to go into it.
Alex, like as soon as lockdown's done, and
I'm going to come over.
Yeah, and Rob, you've got to as well, and hopefully Aaron, and we'll just have like a proper knees up, and you can probably make something if you want, Alex.
Yeah, but even still, I need to go down to and see Rob because I've not been in his area at all. Like I love Dorset. Dorset's lovely, and I'd love to because I've been Dorset quite a few times, but the only sort of bad memories that I got was I think I went 2 years ago. I think from my memory, it was lovely and the beaches were stunning. But unfortunately, though, my first ever experience, I remembered heavy stone. Heavy stone. I threw it so hard, it landed on my mum's foot, and her foot was like bleeding all over the place. I was like,
God.
oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Why have I done that? Why have I done that? As a stupid kid, I've done that for some apparent reason because I thought it was going to be fun. I just saw last show and I thought it'd be nice to throw, would it?
Yeah,
Memories,
it's always funny as a kid, these stupid decisions. It's like there's no harm could do to this obviously harmful thing.
Yeah,
and then
not like we're just sitting backwards on a green summer chair, breaking my elbow as a 3-year-old. Nice one, Alex.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's about 20-minute drive from here. The filming for The Awakening. We haven't been to yet, so that would be fun to do. But if I'm being honest, I just can't wait to move back to Cardiff.
Yeah. Do you think that the locations in Cardiff are more accessible, or do you think that going to Cardiff and finding there's more locations there than ever before? Because I think even through like I don't know, like a half an hour driveway, like I was on my road down to Cardiff to go to the Doctor Who experience, which is no longer there anymore. 2017, I think it was. I went down there and took us about like a 45-minute drive. And we went past all of these other places that they were filmed for Doctor Who. We even went to the caves that they filmed for the Satan pits, for when they the large cave system. They went and did a filming there, and the Hungry Earth and Cold Blood. They did one there as well. And one of my favorites one, I think we did go to it. We went to the forest that they filmed for the Angel 2 parts with Matt Smith. We went through that entire forest, and like, awesome. I can only imagine what the and when when we were going further into the forest, I told my mum, I thought there's a weeping angel over there. There's a weeping angel. Do not just keep your eyes on it. Keep your eyes on it. And I was like looking. I was walking backwards. I'm thinking, I need to keep my eyes on it. Keep my eyes on it because I'm warning this is not a joke.
Yeah,
I've been playing Gary's mod on my channel, and you can activate a weeping angel, and whenever you just look away, it'll just start following you, and it's just so scary. And oh god, I've done a video of it on my channel if you want to watch it.
Yeah, like I said, I'll leave everyone's YouTube channel link down below. But also, so sadly for Rob, he doesn't have a YouTube channel anymore.
I've closed that chapter in my life.
Yeah, there's other things to do. But like I said, I'll leave I'll leave I'll leave Rob's Instagram so you can go and check his artwork, because at least give him a follow. Give him a good follow.
You don't have to if you don't want to.
Come on, it's artwork. Everyone loves artwork. No one likes
but it's effort, isn't it?
No one likes my profile. I'm just posting stuff about food, and I'm just saying, "Oh, yeah,
but I love your food. Well, it looks good. I can't wait to try it."
Like I said, mate, I'm still alright, but it's the fact that I've got other people in trouble with financial difficulty at this time is tough. Like most of my friends are suffering badly with stress, anxiety, and financial difficulty and all that. And I think at times I'm always there for them, but I know that when I can only imagine when the restaurants are going to come back, and I think work's going to come back, and then that's when I think I can be sure that they're going to repay me and all that. But that's nothing to worry about. I mean, at the end of the day, I want the industry to be safe more than ever before we can actually go back and properly work. Because next thing you know, I don't want us to go back to the restaurants, and then next month we're back into another lockdown because we're just repeating the same cycle.
Mm-hmm.
So I think things that need to be changed to do that, or it's either we keep it as it is, but time's running out. We've been locked down for quite some time now, and the restaurant industry is going to go down to the lowest that it's ever been because they've not been selling as much.
Yeah,
even the hotels are not starting to do quarantine. Like most of the hotels are now called off because everyone has to quarantine in hotels now.
Yeah. It's pretty sad.
Tough.
But hopefully, over the next year or so, after everything's back to normal, as people are going to put a bit more money into like hospitality and all those sort of services.
Yeah, I can only
more
imagine
restaurants will open again.
I can only imagine what COVID is like for the people doing Doctor Who. Imagine how many people have got to be at the social distance. I bet everyone gets tested every single day before they start doing production. I mean, what happens if Jodie gets COVID-19? There's next thing you know, you've got to be looking for times to get her back on screen, or even there's scenes with her. You've got to do all of the scenes without her until she can come back.
Yeah.
Must have been a bit frustrated when she was filming that episode, because we are getting the Weeping Angels back for series 13, and they've been filming in on Barry Beach in Wales, and you can tell she looks really cold. So
I think series 13 would be quite a good year to try something experimental, because I'm thinking maybe just an episode set in one room, like maybe an interrogation scene where there's Jodie Whittaker and an interrogator, and I think you should just have talk about a story, and that would just be
why not try and recreate the Trial of a Time Lord scenario? Just have a so-called Valeyard, but sort of like a bossy character saying, "Oh, I'm arresting you, Doctor, of this, this, and this." I'm like, I'm not guilty of this. We have the video footage. It's like a Time Lord. It's like a Trial of a Time Lord sort of scenario. Yeah. But then it's like back and forth arguments.
If anyone's seen Criminal UK on Netflix, brilliant. That's basically an idea that I had. And I was like, oh my god, Doctor Who needs to do that.
Yeah,
they've kind of done it. There's a big finish called the Jigsaw War, where Jamie McCrimmon.
I heard about that.
Yeah, and it's basically that same idea. And I think 13 could work really well with it.
Oh, definitely.
And now, as with social distancing, and you can't do as much.
Yeah.
This year is a perfect year to try
when they say, "Oh, we're going to be copying off some other people who are doing the similar things." But at the end of the day, there's now to a certain degree of where Doctor Who can go to make more stories. I think when you've got to say, if you're trying to send a writer off and say, create a story by yourself, they could create one about, I don't know, the Doctor gets lost in a village. She goes to the pub. She gets locked into the pub. The only way that she can get out is by drinking all of the pints that she can afford. And the next
throw me into that story.
Oh, God, get out of here.
Oh, it's funny. There's a book called Heart of TARDIS where the second Doctor, Jamie and Victoria, are in I think 2003 England or America or something. Yeah. And they and Jamie gets separated from them, and he goes to this pub, and he goes, "Oh yeah, I'll have an ale," or something like that, and everyone else is just staring at him. But eventually he gets into a fight, and then Victoria finds him, and he manages to fight all the relatively drunk sober people off. And Victoria's like, "Are you all right?" "Oh yeah, I'm perfectly fine. Good thing I got me Dirk out." and Victoria just says, "You did say Dirk, didn't you, Jamie?" He goes, "Aye, what do you think I said?" Because I think Victoria thought he said he whipped something else out.
Yeah, okay, I get you. Yes, I can imagine that conversation.
I love the books, how they can do that.
Yeah, they're brilliant, absolutely. Question for all. I asked this a lot. If you could have your TARDIS console in your house / shed, what style would you go for, or would you create your own design? I found it a great shout. I'm going to immediately say Capaldi's, just for the fact that I think that was the last sort of TARDIS design you think, and you think immediately that this is the TARDIS. This is the base. This is a great design, obviously taken from the original or from Matt Smith's TARDIS, and you get to see the sense that it's all round. There's some round things, and I think it's just the dark lighting makes everything better. Some may say that the Jodie Whittaker's TARDIS interior is not as good. I'd say it's more organic than it is machinery, but then you've got to think about the TARDIS. The TARDIS is alive, so there's a little bit of organic parts, but then don't try and take that away from the 2005 version. The 2005 version is the proper organic version. That's it's got all these. It's like all these roots connecting to the TARDIS, and that's the organic part that I associate when I say that the TARDIS is alive. It's organic. It's got that organic material. And then, unlike with the Matt Smith or Capaldi's TARDIS, it's more machinery. And I think that's why they like about the Capaldi's TARDIS, because that's more of a you know that this machine can travel through time and space, and it definitely sends that message across. It's taken back to the original classic, but taken on a modern twist, and that's how I think why the classic series always stuck down to the roots of going for that machinery look, but never that organic look. And I liked what they did in 2005 with that organic look, but Jodie Whittaker's TARDIS trying to take that design to a next level and trying to come up with all of these other things. There's like the sort of time stand thing. I don't know, the sand clock, the spinning glowing TARDIS is a nice touch, and then there's the custard cream dispenser, which I think is a bit over the top. And I'm always thinking to myself, if the Doctors could ever have their own biscuit to associate them with, I'd say that William Hartnell would be a rich tea. Patrick Troughton would be an Oreo, because technically he's stated in black and white. John Pertwee will go for a digestive, just basic and classic. Tom Baker will go for something I don't know, a bit adventurous. He'd go for he'll go for a Jaffa cake and then say it's a biscuit, but then we call clearly no, it's a Jaffa cake. It belongs in the cake category. But he'll say, oh no, these are special Jaffa biscuits. And I can only imagine what all of the other Doctors are going to choose. Of course, you could probably say for, Matt Smith is the only exception that he has the jammy dodgers. But then for all of the other ones, it's like, you can sort of say, that guy is more of like a hobnobs, but then there's no ginger nut, so you can't really give anyone a ginger nut. So it gives you a bit of like a short window. Not like a pink wafer, because no one's pink. Unless,
I think the best touch,
because he's got colourful colours. So he has.
I think the best touch in a TARDIS is Capaldi's when they got the gin cabinet. And he opened it and I was like, oh
God,
that's nice. I think Jodie needs that as well.
Graham
having a
what?
Saying up for the question that we had, I'd probably say, you know what, I'm going to say Matt Smith's first TARDIS. I think that one's underrated, because I feel like with that one, it's very sort of futuristic and also sort of past with the typewriter and that.
I'm going to be really that TARDIS interior looks like a child's playground for all of the kids to jump on and mess around.
I don't like it.
As Matt Smith is going to be like, come on, kids, into the TARDIS, here we go. You can jump everywhere.
Even though I'm not personally keen on it, I do think it suits Matt Smith perfectly. It's like it's almost like he's a kid again. He's 1,000 years old, but he's a kid again, and that's exactly.
I don't know. I just quite like that one.
I'd perfectly go. I think I'd go for McGann's. I think the Gothic.
Oh, that
semi-steam. Not like there's hints of. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah,
I feel like
because when he's sitting down, he can take a nice book. He's got the jelly babies, and he's got like his own little seating area when he's not flying, so he can do all his reading. It's like a nice place to do.
Yeah,
I feel like
living
with
room.
Exactly, it's like it's having its own in its own living room.
I feel like with the War Doctors, it was kind of plain. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that one is probably like the smallest console one we've had.
It is.
So I think it was even smaller than the season 14 one, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that one. I mean, that one was already kind of small.
Yeah, that one's the wooden one with a couple of the. I think there was a lot of detail into it. I think maybe the little control box area didn't have as much as the like the large TARDIS sort of machine. You just had like a little box where you did all the same things, but it didn't really look like the proper. I think it's underrated, but I don't think
I'm keen on it.
I don't think they used it as much. I think they used it from the Mask of Mandragora all the way until.
It was only in a couple of stories, wasn't it? It was Mask of Mandragora, Hand of Fear, Deadly Assassin,
Face of Evil.
It wasn't even in Face of Evil though, was it? No.
Robots of Death was because Lily.
Yeah, Robots of Death. They had that scene. It wasn't in Talons, was it? No,
it wasn't.
Even though it was used in Horrifying Rock, never saw it because in Invisible Enemy, they changed back to the other one.
They changed back. Maybe it was the fact that they didn't have the. Well, is it really an excuse to change sets, or maybe just to say that somebody created a new TARDIS design and they did it for a trial?
I'm sort of disappointed they changed it because I loved the season 13 one. which in itself was only used in what Planet of Evil, and
Yeah,
was it in any other?
I think it was in
Pyramids of Mars.
Pumas of Mars. It was.
Yeah.
And they changed
A
it.
lot more space. It was
Yeah.
much bigger than the subsequent TARDIS.
Hmm. I mean, I can only imagine what the sort of like they changed all the shapes of the the TARDIS exterior as well. I mean, that's another question. Like, if anyone was going to have their own TARDIS, would you keep it as a police box, or would you change it to suit the surroundings where you are? Like, I don't know. You can probably like disguise it like as a church, for instance, or you can disguise it as a grandfather clock. Even if you really wanted to be really suspicious that you are the master, you can go for whatever design you want it to be.
But the master, his TARDIS actually works.
Yeah.
It's remembered in the Heavenly Paradigm when they landed in Suburbia, and the Masters just starts laughing at the TARDIS. It's like, oh, the ship is trying to be amusing, and it's being a telephone box.
Pretty sure it was a red telephone box.
Yeah.
Like the police box, which I love. So of course the Master's TARDIS would do that.
Yeah.
Definitely, for sure. I'm not sure if I've asked this question or not, but I think if you had to go to a Doctor Who story, but not just for the story itself, but would you ever go into a dimension and you think, what story would you land in? And like, I think it's for settings. I think the settings in Doctor Who have been amazing, and I think one I'm going to bring up massively here is just for the fact that it's just so darn creative. Would you find yourself scary if you were in the setting of Planet of Evil with all of the jungle, with the colorful colors, the swamp, the mist? You've got all the creatures creeping behind you with the antimatter world. Would you think that that's one of the best designs for any settings at all? Because I think for me, though, that's like taking just a normal warehouse and trying to create that small warehouse into that sort of set. Like, they only had a small warehouse to even create all that lot.
I think it definitely is arguably the best set that they've done in the classic series.
And that's why I think I think a lot of the time it's like trying to match up to that standard, because I think when I saw that, I thought this is like they've got a lot of space, or they tried to do this at night in some sort of forest, but this is some sort of warehouse, and it is like incredible, especially with the lighting that these work so well. The lighting, they've got like some like little stuff like panels of solar panels sort of things, and they use that as the light instead of it just completely being all dark and mysterious.
I think also one of my favorite ones, and I didn't actually think of this until I watched the episode a few days ago, is the Daemons when they were in the church. Where like I think in the end, like the last episode, not in last, but like I noticed it in the last episode. It's like when the lighting is really dark except for the green, red hues, and then with the atmosphere and the prop design and costumes and everything, it feels alive and it feels worth the money.
For sure.
You know? And I think that one needs to be talked about more.
I agree with you on that one, because I think they added a lot of into the fact that they wanted to make it just so different, because I think they wanted to grab the sort of sense that this is the black magic variety and the sort of dark and intriguing sort of dark spells that they wanted to go for, and I think they nailed it perfectly. I think ones that are quite basic and so standard as their own, like I think though, for me personally, the one that always sticks to mind, when they have the episodes, when you watch the title sequence and then they go into the episode immediately, there are some episodes where they do like a cue card explaining the episode, the writer, or what part it is. They've done it with Inferno, they've done it with the Ambassador of Death, and one of my favorite ones, where every single time I watch this one, I love this one to bits. It's the Seeds of Death. Where they've got all of the light, and then they move slowly to the Earth and the Moon, and they slowly change it for where the episode is being set.
Yeah, I love that.
Be like the first one's going to be set on Earth, but then in the next two parts, it's been set to the Moon. So it's complete opposite, and the music is brilliant for it as well.
I love that. It's like when the episode starts on the Moon, it was from the Earth to the Moon, and vice versa, and that was brilliant. I love that.
What about you, Adam? Do you think that there are like other ones out there that are like quite different. I think the other one that I think is just different for as an aesthetic is the ones. Remember the war games where you've got the blast of the gunshot, you've just got the war games flashing to you, as
Yeah.
well as the name coming back.
Yeah.
Explosive. It's like quick flashing of like you can hear the gunshot in the background as well as it goes by.
I quite like how in Remembrance when how the Daleks were exterminating those soldiers, because it kind of felt a little bit like the modern series.
Yeah.
You know, like you could tell that technology has actually gone a little bit more better in the 80s.
Here's an interesting topic, because I think you just brought it up, Alex, there with the post title sequence, but with like the title things.
Story, there's like a little cue card of the episode name being told, and then there's the
because they did it for was the War Machines the first one they did, wasn't it? Then they did it for the 10th planet. What was the Ice Warriors? Inferno was probably the last one, actually.
Yeah, I think Inferno was the last one.
But I think it is probably like it works at its best.
Yeah.
At Seeds of Death and War Games.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it really does help throw you into the story.
Ambassador of Death is an unusual one because it'll go from the title sequence to a little bit of the scene, and then at some certain point it'll clash with the Ambassadors of Death, and it'll have the John Pertwee title. But it's not really like it throws to you with the title sequence involved, but it's like you don't understand like what's going on here until it goes with. Because
it's edited really weirdly because it'll just sort of like the total sequence will end without the story title.
Exactly.
And it'll go into the story, and then all of a sudden it's like,
yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I really want season 7 to be released as a complete box set. I think they are near enough going to complete all the John Pertwee collection box sets, but I don't think they're going to do it because that one's so large and bet it'll be expensive to buy. I'll pay it because I love that season.
Have you pre-ordered
the stories as the other ones? It's just like instead of 5 4-parters, it's 3 7-parters.
Have you pre-ordered season 8 and season 24, Alex? Or...
I pre-ordered season 8, but not 24 because I'm not a fan of 24. Honestly, I gave Paradise Towers a good watch. It was good. I don't mind Paradise Towers. Delta and Abandonment, I know is how much is your guilty pleasure, but it's for me. I've got to think about money-wise. Is it one that I'm going to be using for watching pleasure? Because the fact is, I did the same with Trial of the Time Lord. I accidentally got the Trial of the Time Lord sets because I've got it on DVD and I've got it on VHS. So I've got 3 versions of Trial of the Time Lord: VHS, DVD, and Blu-ray. So I'm like, I don't know where to go for. It's either I'm only getting the Blu-ray, either I'm not watching it, or for the fact I've just got it for collection reasons.
Yeah,
I think because Colin Baker, I think some of the classic Doctors are going to be watching season 24, and I know Colin's going to be in it, and I know that he refuses that time in Iran. He shouldn't exist, and I don't blame him though. But I am interested in what he's going to think about when he watches it on the behind the sofa scenes, because that's what I mostly get the complete collection box sets for, because I just like to know what the cast think of the stories.
I can only imagine going to Colin Baker and giving him a massive old rant saying, "You are wearing my coat incorrectly there. My wig's not supposed to go like this." And all that. I can only imagine the conversations popping up every now and again between each Doctor and thinking, like, "You're wearing my outfit wrong. And why have you decided, like, I could have come in or maybe on a day off, I would have just done that one scene and there you go. I would have been out of there. But no, completely forgot about me. So much how you care about me now." Well, thank goodness now the Nightmare Fair did all that.
Yeah. It's a shame that the audio isn't particularly amazing.
I think seasons 7 to 26 are going to be normal price. Seasons 1 and 6 are tricky. Wouldn't surprise me if they split. Yeah.
They are long seasons, aren't they? Like, I think season 2 is probably the longest.
Yes.
There's just so much in there, isn't there?
Yeah, but only
then season 3 is also just as long when you take into consideration the Daleks' master plan.
Yeah, but I think season 2 is a good one to go for because it's not like Alex Parsons said. They only need to animate the Crusade, and then that could be made into a box set ready for production. Because
I mean, yeah, it's I think that one will probably take a lot of resources for like a 6-parter, but it's doable.
It is doable.
And we're actually really close for a lot of these 60s ones because obviously with season 1 we just need Marco Polo, season 2 the Crusade, season 6 Space Pirates, season 4 Moonbase, no, not Moonbase,
Highlanders
and
Evil of the Dalek.
Underwater.
And Smugglers as well.
Underwater and Oh yeah, Smugglers and Evil. Yeah, actually, yeah, season 4 is way off.
I mean, season 6 though. Season 6 has got. Do you think part of the invasion may get animated, and then there's just the Space Pirates?
It's already been animated, hasn't it?
Yeah, no, but then we'll.
Oh, do you mean reanimated?
Yeah, reanimated in that way.
You know what? No, I think it holds up. I think even the invasion animation holds up. Like, it's got that sort of aesthetic that sort of mimics the sort of noir, sort of black and white espionage type feel.
I think
that first part.
The sort of earliest animation we got to see, and I kind of want to go back on those animations for a bit longer because I thought those were the sort of trials of what animation was going to be like. I still think to what most people tend to think about the animation process now, that they wanted something similar like the Moon-based animation, where that was sort of pinpoint perfect because face-wise was kind of perfect. But the thing is with having the sort of those animation teams to continually do that, I think it's just generally tough for allowing a numerous amount of companies to take on that challenge and to recreate more of those animations. Because I think they did it for those 2 episodes of Moonbase, and they did them quite well. But I think going on to creating an entire story load of them will be quite tricky to do. So I'd like to see if they want to take those up again, or maybe the companies are just not doing it anymore because they're not being paid to do the work, or they want to do a lot more, but the BBC aren't really sharing about their certain deal. So I think it's certain deals of what other animation companies want to go for, and that's why I think all of these other animations, especially with you see the varieties in the Faceless ones and and View from the Deep, like those ones look similar, but there's a little bit of a difference there, and I think it's either the same company have done the same animation, but they've tweaked it a bit. And they think that's the right improvement, or they're looking at this as another company doing this, and they're taking the same approach, they're taking the same format, but they're tweaking it their way, so it's not as copying, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, so it was Sun and Moon that did Macro Terror.
Yes.
Rob Ritchie, who did Sharda, also did Faceless ones.
Yes.
And Big Finish Creative did Fury from the Deep.
So it's all these different because everyone seems to think that it's just the one company that are doing all these animations and they're just making certain changes. It's different companies taking the job of doing all this animation work to new heights. But I think when everyone takes on that task of doing this animation, it's quite tough to get it down to a T, to even make it to perfection in a way. So I guess with what people likely want to say about the animation not being consistent, I understand that, but
I think it's great that we've got different styles. I mean, personally, what's that, Adam?
Sorry to interrupt. I'm going to have to get going now. It's been absolutely great to be on this.
I think we're going to have to leave it at there because I've taken a long time out of your time, guys. I appreciate.
It's okay.
I appreciate you all coming on. Like I said, thanks for thanks for bearing with me because I was struggling trying to get this whole thing working. So I'm glad that everyone enjoyed themselves. We had Aaron, we had Alex. Again, he may have a name like me, but he is me and I am him. So
perhaps he was you, of course, or perhaps you are him.
Maybe that's a conspiracy we need to find out another time. But I'm going to leave it at there, guys. All right. Cheers very much, guys, for joining. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you all soon. And again, if we want to call later on tonight, I'll message you. Cool.
Awesome.
Thanks, Adam. Cheers for coming. I'll see you all soon.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
See you all soon.
Okay, then. Right. like I said, I'm going to finish off a couple of questions if anybody's got any before I close this live stream. Because, like I said, I'm thankful for that everyone had the chance to come on this live stream, and even if you're not a subscriber or if you're just a friend of mine who wants to watch me on YouTube, like I said, I'm glad you enjoyed it. And even for the longest time that I've known myself, if I'm not going to do YouTube for a long time, I just take it up as a hobby. And if it means of just doing these live streams to interact with all you lots, and if you want me to comment on any sort of ideas for the future, then I'm more than happy to do so. I've been watching more of the Incredible Hulk. I've got a couple of stories that I need to do more. And I think just in general, I've given a break from Doctor Who, but I will be back with more Doctor Who content, maybe in March, and maybe with a lot more. So I guess give me till then, and I might come up with some more stories or just something in the works. Because like I said, lockdown's giving me a good time to think about the channel and think I want to just do this as a hobby, and I'll be on YouTube whenever I can. And I think that's the most important thing to look at this sort of scenario. But anyway, thanks so much everyone for joining for my birthday live stream. My birthday is actually tomorrow, if you did not know, because my birthday is nothing special. The only thing about my birthday is that I'm turning 21, and that's all that everyone needs to know about. I'm not happy about the fact that we're still stuck inside, and I can't do much for my birthday. But like I said, I'm glad that I had the opportunity to spend time with Aaron, Rob, Adam, and Alex Patterson from the Doctor Who Guide, just to make my day and to make my birthday a little bit better than it was going to be. Because I would have just think the most boring birthday of this year just would have been just that. But I've had a blast today. It's been fantastic. And yes, great to see that everyone's just loving these live streams just for a general Doctor Who talk. And if it's just that, then so be it. And I think everyone just loves these streams just for the fact that we all talk Doctor Who, we all talk our opinions. And if some people like certain things to a different degree, then that's fine. I'm glad that everyone has enjoyed this live stream. The only things that I have been watching on my time without liking Doctor Who, the only things that I've got really into have been the Incredible Hulk series with a friend of mine. I've also been looking at, there's other stuff that's going on in my life. A lot of the things that I'm watching right now are more wrestling wise, because the WWE is sort of the thing that I'm interested as well. But if you love my Doctor Who content, I will get back to. But I'm thinking about my own to do some wrestling content, because for me, that's a sort of similar passion that I've got with wrestling. But then again, I do love one YouTube channel called Cultaholic Wrestling, one of the best wrestling YouTube channels ever. If you love wrestling, go over to their channel. They are amazing. They're funny. You'll love them, and they've all got such great content, such fantastic YouTubers. But if you're here for my Doctor Who content, that I'm going to give you Doctor Who content. But I'm going to give you Doctor Who content when I can, and I'm hoping within the coming days or the coming weeks, whenever I upload, please watch them, because there may be a video that I may upload for quite some time. And I'm very happy that everyone is sticking around this channel just for the fact that I'm here doing my reviews or talking about certain subjects, and even to the fact bringing out the sort of fear factor of Doctor Who. What got everyone to start doing Doctor Who? And I really appreciate everyone coming onto the stream, wishing me a happy birthday, commenting, talking with us. It's been a blast, and I have to thank everyone from the bottom of my heart for keeping up with the support on the channel, and just to give me so many good vibes about this channel, because I still think that I can do a lot more. But with the conditions that we've got, with the time constraints that I am working, but there are some time constraints where I've got, and maybe there's just the times where I'm just lazy, but I'm enjoying my time, and I want to do more on YouTube. But I thank each and every one of you for joining this live stream, and if you're watching this on a repeat, then thank you so much everyone for watching, and I will see all of you in a new video, whatever video it may be, Incredible Hulk, wrestling, Doctor Who, or anything really. Please just watch it. Even if you're not a fan or not, you've subscribed to me for the content that I make, not necessarily just the fact that Doctor Who is the best show out there. It is good, but there are a couple of things that we do love about Doctor Who and the things we dislike about Doctor Who. But I'll save that for another video. I think there are things that I really appreciate for the people watching this channel. They are constant and passionate fans about Doctor Who, but then they are the people who just subscribe because they are a friend of mine and they want to get to know me a bit more, and I appreciate every single person for doing that. And like I said, You are fantastic subscribers. You are fantastic people supporting this channel, and I will always love you forever. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching for my birthday live stream. And I'll try and enjoy my birthday. Doubt it's going to be very eventful, but anyway, this was the highlight of my birthday. Thank you very much, everyone, for making it worthwhile. And I'll see you all, everyone, in a new video. Until then, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon. Thanks, everyone, much for joining, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.